Hey guys, Victor here, and today I'm coming at you with another retro deck profile for the September 2011 format. Today's focus is going to be Junk Doppel, and I'm just letting you guys know, this deck is pretty much a Quasar turbo deck, but Quasar wouldn't be legal for at least another couple months. So instead, the main focus of this deck is basically just to spam out cards such as Drill Warrior and Shooting Star Dragon as often as possible. So, with that out of the way, let's jump straight into the deck profile. So, starting off with the monsters, we're going to be playing 3 Junk Synchron, and 3 Doppel Warrior. As the name suggests, it's a Junk Doppel deck, so of course you want to max out on cards such as Junk Warrior and Doppel Warrior in order to help facilitate your combos and ensure that you can actually play the game. And then after that, we're also going to be playing 3 QuickDraw Synchron. In most type of decks like this, you'll typically only see 1 to 2 QuickDraws being played, but that's because those Junk Doppel decks are more of a control based, as opposed to mine, which is pretty much just pure aggro. You're always going to want to be making plays if you can. And it's because of that Maxx is pretty much one of the biggest hindrances to this deck. So if you get Maxx, the game basically ends at that point, but the deck is still a lot of fun and can play through it. If you get Maxx, your number one goal is basically just to play Drill Warrior control. And so, as I stated earlier, since this is a really heavy combo deck, we will also be playing 3 level leaders. As stated in the intro, this is a Quasar deck pre-Quasar. So we want to pretty much max out on a level leader, as it's one of the most broken level 1s at this point, even though people don't realize it yet, as it's able to bring itself back as long as you lower the level of a level 5 or higher by 1. It's just really good at helping you fix any awkward levels that you may face with your monsters and getting them to the exact thing that you need in order to synchro summon into cards such as Shooting Star Dragon. And then we're also going to be playing 1 Synchron Explorer. This is basically Junk Synchron, but it works in reverse. So you're going to be able to normal summon this and then grab any Synchron tuner from your graveyard and special summon it. So it's really good at getting back your QuickDraw Synchrons or your Junk Synchrons, or this next card, Unknown Synchron, in order to be able to play the game in a lot more consistently, especially if you go into a grind game, which, since this is a slower based format, tends to happen even though you don't really want it to. And then lastly, we're just going to be playing 1 Quillbolt Hedgehog. It's a really nice extender if you get it into the grave, as it's able to special summon itself if you control a tuner. And it's a level 2, which this deck really enjoys having. And that's pretty much the first half of the monster lineup. The next part is going to focus on the techie cards that you can play, but they're not required. I just enjoy using them. So I'll see you guys in a bit. Now, kicking off the second half of the monster lineup, we're going to be playing 2 DD Sprite. This is a really cool and underrated card, I feel, at this time, as it's able to special summon itself by removing from play 1 face-up monster you control, and then it has an added bonus of being able to return that monster that you banished during the next standby phase. So it's really cool at helping unclog your field in order to help get your plays to progress, because it does sometimes happen where you get a Doppel token or a Dandy token and you can't really do anything with them. So this is able to get rid of them, and then because of the fact that it's a level 1, it helps you extend your plays and summon higher level monsters at a lot easier fashion. And it's just a really cool card. And in addition to that, it's a light, which is something that this deck actually kind of lacks in order to help you summon out your big boss monster in the form of Blackluster Soldier Envoy in the beginning. BLS is just a really cool card in this type of deck. It's literally another boss monster, and it's incredibly easy to get to and set up for, thanks to TG Hyper Librarian in the extra deck. And then you play a bunch of darks, and then you play all the lights, and yeah, it's whenever you drop this, you are 100% going for game. And then next, we're going to be playing our hand traps. So of course, we're playing 2 Maxx and 2 Effect Veiler. Veiler is a light, it's a level 1. It's really good. And then Maxx, even though it's level 2, it has an added bonus. So if your hand is pretty weak, for example, you can discard your Maxx straight up, and then you can bring it back off a Junk Warrior, and then you can continue your plays like that. So it has a lot of extra utility in addition to just being an incredibly broken card. We're also going to be playing 1 Gores because it's Gores, and this deck doesn't really play any back row, so it's pretty much almost always going to be live if your opponent is able to clear your board. And then we're also going to be playing a very small plant engine, so we're going to be playing the 1 Glow Bulb, the 1 Spore, and the previously mentioned Dandelion. They're just really good cards that are nice to have in synchro-based decks. And with that, that's the monster lineup, so now we can move on to the spell portion of the deck. Now, when it comes to the spells, there are a lot of important cards to help ensure that you can play the game and consistently win it. But the most important by far is easily tuning, which is why we played 3 of it. This is pretty much the God card. You always want to open it because it does literally everything for your deck, as it adds any Synchron tuner, so you can either add your junk or your QuickDraw, or even in rare situations, your unknown, and then it mills a card after you're done searching. Unfortunately for me, I'm not very lucky, so I tend to mill spells and traps most of the time, but every so often, you will be able to mill some cards such as Doppel Warrior or Level Leader, or even Dandelion, and just combo off completely, and it does feel really good when you do that. But yeah, this is easily one of the best cards, if not the best card in the deck. And then in addition to tuning, we're going to be playing 2 Mystical Space Typhoon and 1 Heavy Storm. This deck 100% folds to back row decks, and unfortunately, one of the most popular back row decks in this format is TG Stun, which 100% just annihilates Junk Doppel, thanks to cards such as Skill Drain being so heavily used in it. That's why normally you see my ratios and only play the 1 MST and the 1 Heavy, but I opted to bump up MST to 2, just specifically for those types of decks. If you want to play 3, you can, but I feel like it kind of messes up the consistency a little bit too much, so I've opted with 2-1 ratio for back row removal, with the 3rd MST in the side, obviously, just in case it does come up. And then after that, we're going to be playing a lot of really good 1-ofs. So we're going to be playing 1 Book of Moon, helps out cards like Thunder King Ryo, which kind of hamper this deck a lot. Then we also play the 1 Dark Hole because it's Dark Hole, the 1 Monster Reborn, which is pretty much a free extender and just a really powerful card in general. We also play 1 Allure of Darkness. Now, there are a lot of dark cards in this deck that we play at 3 of, such as Junk, Synchron, Doppel Warrior, and Level Leader, and we're more than okay with banishing one of them, especially Junk Synchron, as after we've used the normal summon on the first turn, we pretty much don't care about it for the rest of the game. So yeah, we're more than okay with banishing that. And then we're also going to be playing the 1 Reinforcement of the Army. This is basically your 4th copy of tuning, except instead of adding cards such as QuickDraw, it adds either Junk Synchron or Doppel Warrior, which goes a long way in helping ensure your combos go off. And then we're also going to be playing 1 for 1, which is by far one of the most powerful spells in the deck, especially since this is a synchro-based deck, and there is a lot of level 1s that we want to get, such as Spore, Global, Effect Veiler, Defeater, Chaos monsters. And then it also fills up the graveyard with cards like Dandelion or just anything else to help get our plays going. Easily one of the best cards. And then lastly, for spells, we're going to be playing 1 Pot of Avarice because it's Pot of Avarice, and we fill up our graveyard incredibly easy. So just being able to get back resources that are important from our main deck and our extra deck while drawing 2 cards goes a long way in helping us win the game. And then we're also going to be playing 1 trap card, just 1 Trap Dust Shoot because it's Trap Dust Shoot. And if you go first and you draw this, you've pretty much already won the game. And that's the spell and trap lineup. With that, we can now finally move on to the extra deck. Now, compared to most decks at this time, the Junk Doppel extra deck is actually really weird and really varied. So with that, we're going to start off with 1 Formula Synchron. One of the better cards in the extra deck, as it's a level 2 light tuner, and you typically want to pair it with TG Hyper Librarian in order to get to draw 2, which goes a long way in helping you ensure that you can combo off in this deck. And then speaking of Hyper Librarian, we're going to be playing 1 TG Hyper Librarian. This is, I feel, one of the few decks that actually gets to show off Hyper Librarian's true potential, as it synchro summons like crazy, which means you're going to be drawing through your deck like crazy. And it's insane what this card is able to do, even though technically decks like Junk Doppel weren't that strong at this time just yet. And then we're also going to be playing 1 Junk Warrior, because it's Junk Warrior. It's easy to summon out whether you're using QuickDraw with Level Leader or you're using just Junk Synchron in general with any level 2. You're pretty much just using this to climb up the chain into higher levels. You're never really leaving it on the board to use as a synchro monster, if that makes sense. But one that we will be doing is Ally of Justice Cataster. Just a really good generic level 5. You pretty much want to play this in every single extra deck if you play like a Veiler in a level 4. So we're just playing that. And then the last level 5 that we're playing is 1 X-Saber Wayne. This is a really weird card that most people don't play, but I actually really think it's cool and what it can do, as you're able to special summon it using whatever tuner and non-tuner monsters, and then when it's synchro summoned, you can special summon a level 4 or lower warrior type from your hand. So what you're normally going to be doing is you're going to summon this, and then you can summon one of your extra Junk Synchrons from your hand in order to go straight into a level 8, such as Junk Destroyer or Stardust Dragon, depending on what the situation calls for. and it's just like a really cool card that offers a lot of utility in general. So yeah, I really like it. And then when it comes to sixes, we're going to be playing one Brionic because it's Brionic, pretty much a staple in every extra deck. And then we're going to be playing two Drill Warriors. This is going to be your main card to help get back your resources and play against your opponent. Not much to say. If you get Maxx seed, you either stop or you try to make this card with as few cards as possible. Yeah, it's really invaluable in getting back your resources to help ensure that you can play on your next turn. And then after that, we can focus on the level 7s. So we're going to be playing one Black Rose Dragon because it's Black Rose Dragon. And then we're going to be playing one Nitro Warrior. I actually really like Nitro Warrior, but I can definitely make the case for playing cards such as Junk Berserker or Junk Archer instead of this, mainly because of the fact that cards like Junk Archer and Junk Berserker are able to be made with Junk Synchron instead of only QuickDraw Synchron like this card. But it's honestly up to you. It doesn't really matter. Half the time we make a level 7 is just to go up to a level 8. So you can pretty much play whatever you want. I just opted for Nitro Warrior in this specific situation. And then after that, we're going to be playing the one Stardust Dragon. Incredibly important if you want to be able to make Shooting Star Dragon, as you need to use this as a material for it. And it's just an all-around really good card. But we also play a lot of other level 8s, such as Junk Destroyer, as it's just a free pop, depending on how many materials you use that aren't tuners. And so if you summon this card with like either QuickDraw or Junk Synchron, it's very easy to pop 2 cards minimum with it, especially since Level Eater's in the deck. Not much to say, just a good card. And then we're also going to be playing one Road Warrior. I really like this card. Its main function is to be able to special summon either out Unknown Synchron from your deck or a Quillbolt Hedgehog if you've already used your Unknown. And then once you've summoned this, the typical order operations of play that you want to do is go Hyper Librarian into Road Warrior, put the Level Eater in your graveyard, by the way. And then you can summon out the Level Eater along with an Unknown Synchron from your deck. You make Formula, and then you can Level Eat. And then just off of that, you're able to make Stardust Dragon with your Formula Synchron and the Road Warrior, since you've Level Eaten 2 off of it, and then you can just go off from there. It's mainly used in like Quasar decks to summon out Shooting Quasar Dragon, as being able to manipulate levels with it is really easy, as Hyper Librarian plus Level Eater in this means you'll have 2 5s plus the Formula normally. But since there's no Quasar, we're not making Quasar, we're just going to be focusing on Shooting Star Dragon. And then you have the one Trish because it's Trish, and the one Shooting Star Dragon to finish things off because it's Shooting Star Dragon. And yeah, if you're able to summon this, it's a really cool card. You can reveal 5 cards off the top of your deck, and if you hit any tuners, you get 1 attack for every single tuner you reveal. It's very important. So say you reveal just 1 tuner, that means you only get 1 attack. It does not add on to the regular attacks. So just keep that in mind if you ever do make this card. And with that, that's the Junk Doppel deck. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. So see ya!